place. These talks are hosted by IAF members, and they are open to the community overall, independently if people are members or not. And all the presentations and materials are shared in our website for you to look further if you wish. Just for you to know, the IAF globally has more than, it's close than 2,000 members, and in Europe and Middle East, we are more than 550, quite close to the Asia region. So I know that Farah is there, and we are always playing around with these numbers, both of us. And yes, it's a pleasure to welcome you guys. And I know that you'll drive us through a journey about a tool, diagnostic tool for client engagement. And I know that we are so interested to listen from you. So welcome, and it's up to you now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So yes, Shyam.
Thank you so much, Celeste, and thank you so much, friends, for joining in. It's a real, indeed, a pleasure to see a lot of our friends out over here, and a couple of our CPF friends as well. So really great and grateful to you to have you guys over here. Also happy to see some new faces and some new members. Welcome. Today we are going to keep a very, very interesting talk on riding on a helicopter. Perhaps you must have rode a helicopter as a pilot or a co-pilot, but today we are going to ride the helicopter and kind of see a diagnostic tool for client engagement, a tool for stakeholder conversations, something that we can use to design our impactful sessions, something that we can use to build questions to hold robust conversations, something that can make our sessions impactful and engaging. So without much ado, let's get into the flow.
So just, So let us see how this 90 minutes looks for us. So welcome to the Facilitation Talks, and we are very happy and honored that IAF Europe and Middle East is hosting us. What the topic today is riding the helicopter, and our journey today looks like we are going to be checking in. Part of the check-in is done already. If you have not, please request the invitation to the group is to change their name onto their first names. How are they feeling right now, and from where do you come from? Right. After we have checked in briefly, we will discover the integral map. What is this map about is what we are going to be having an understanding of. Then we are going to ride the helicopter. It's just not about knowing the map, but also riding the helicopter. And then we have the checkout. The checkout is going to be a small using a Mentimeter, right? So this is how our whole 90-minute is been planned for you. So hope you have a wonderful and joyous ride. We are all excited to take off. Thank you.
Great. So looking at the check-ins of the participants, what's the maximum feeling that represents?
So what is it that we're seeing? We're seeing a lot of happiness. We are seeing a lot of excitement. We are seeing a lot of happy people, fantastic. Curiosity is something that's coming up, right? And I love an exclamation saying alive. Yeah, in these times, it is so nice to be alive. And that feeling is really joyous. So thank you for that, right?
Great. So we have a lot of curious learners as well. So,
yes.
So it's always good to have inclusive and diverse feelings so that we can make a better at it.
Yes, I'm just going to be sharing the screen, right?
Sure.
So let's get started. Are we able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we all have gone through the ways of working, but just something for us, the awareness. So I'm just going to be repeating as facilitators out here. We've always been doing this and we've always been asking our participants, but just to get the awareness. So I hope we are all sitting in a comfortable place. The headset is the best way to have an experience of this whole thing. Have a notepad and a pen ready to scribble down your thoughts. We will be muting all of you. So if there is any questions, please type on the chat window with the Q in front, so we will get back to it. And also the awareness is that all the questions would be directly coming to either me or Sham, right? So at any point of time, if you need any questions, please, you can use the chat box to get in touch with us. Okay. If you want to be unmuted, please unmute yourself, or you just raise your hands and we can do the needful. This beautiful sketch note that you're seeing is from Visuals at Work, and we would like to have gratitude to them. So, you know, this is how they have helped us get onto the ways of working, right? How do we get the most from today's session is by having a dialogue and listening. That's mindful listening, having a conversation, experiencing the framework, being a seeker. Learning by doing is something that we always believe in, and learning from peers. As a group of facilitators, all these things are not new to us, but we're just getting in front of the group as an invitation to the awareness of it, right? So let us see who has joined us today. So I'm just going to be running a poll, so kindly answer this poll. So let's see who are with us today. Some interesting answers, and this poll is going to remain open for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And we've got a 92% voting. I'm just going to end the poll. That's good for us. And I'm sharing the results. Sham, very interesting mix. Would you like to share it with our group, please?
Sure. So very interesting and a versatile group we have today with us. We have 63% of us in the room who are facilitators. That's a big chunk, and we are very happy. We can figure out on your group wisdom and each support each other's that. We have 35% who are HR, OD, L&D professionals. So that's again a big chunk, and I think this topic is perhaps directly attractive towards that community. So we have got more. The next biggest is your training community, 30%. And then the mix of management consultant, coach. We have some senior leadership team members and others. So interestingly put together, 63 plus 35. I think it's a majority of the people who are from the L&D, OD, HR, and the facilitation community. So you're at the right place. Welcome. Cool.
Thank you. Yes. So can we move ahead? Are you ready to take these people off on the helicopter ride?
Yes.
Sure. Let's move.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something that we want to build as we move forward. Around a year back, there was a call that I got from a client of ours, from a head HR, and he called to inquire whether we will come and help the company facilitate importance of customer and their role in delivering service for the team leads. So we had some chat on the call, and then it was not too clear where it was leading to and where it was going forward. So we agreed that we will meet in his office along with the decision maker to understand what's the central issue. And we met separately, the head HR, and also we had one-on-one with the CEO, the decision maker, to understand what exactly are they looking at, what's the central issue. Yeah, and this is what we heard from them. I'm the only capable leader. Foul language used in the meetings. Minimum communication in daily operations. Poor interpersonal relations. The other leaders are dumb. Can we have the other slide color?
It is already, they're pointing fingers at each other because you are just frozen on my screen. So I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you, Kala.
Yeah, Sham, are you there? I think we lost Sham. Sorry, it's the connection. Sham, are you there? Okay, let me take this ahead. I think Sham is having some internet issues. Yeah. Okay, fine. Now, this is what we heard when we met and had those conversations with the CEO separately and his team members or his HODs, as Sham mentioned. What the invitation to the group is now, breakout rooms. Think about your previous stakeholder needs meeting. Consider the things that got you frustrated or just seemed to be a waste of time. The things that made you say, there's got to be a better way to do this. When you're having this thought, what were some of the challenges you face while understanding your stakeholder needs? This is the conversation we would want you to have in the breakout groups. So think about a time when you had a stakeholder meeting and you were really frustrated because you were not getting your answers. What are the challenges that you faced? Right? We are going to be in the breakout rooms for around 7 minutes. I would request you to take a picture of the slide so that when we are in the rooms, we know exactly what conversation we are going to be having about, right? So if the instructions are clear, can I open the breakout rooms? Does anyone need any instructions to be repeated?
Nope,
Are
let's
we
go ahead.
good to go? Yeah, let's go ahead. Thank you. I'm assuming this voice as the voice of the group, and I'm going to open the breakout rooms. Thank you. You're not online? Oh. Okay, come on. Okay, you have a time lag. Okay, is there any reason why Shiva and Geeta have not joined the breakout room, please? Shiva,
Hello, I'm back.
Shiva.
Sorry, this is Shiva here. I just
Yeah.
lost the connectivity. I'm back.
Okay. So, do you want me to put you in a room?
Yes.
Yeah,
Please.
just let me put you in any room that's possible. Okay, just give me a minute, please. Yeah, so I will just put you. Yeah, thank you. Geeta?
Also, Abhishek has joined.
Yeah, Abhishek, have you joined just now? Geeta, are you unable to join the room, please? Jana?
Abhishek, Geeta, can you hear us?
Jana, can you hear us?
I'm having a, I don't know why I'm getting locked out. Although there's a
No.
steady.
So in the evening when I was having the other webinar, I was having the same thing. It was showing my internet was low bandwidth. So I don't know. I think there are a lot of things because the other group that was working also were having the same issues. So there's a lot of bandwidth issues. And I think that's the reason why people are not able to. Okay. Geeta logged into 2 devices, hence returned 1 device back to the main room. Okay. Interesting. Thank you. just Sham, we have
How many breakout groups?
10 breakout groups,
How many participants?
and each room is having around 5 participants.
Let's do one thing. दो
Again,
group का plus make 8 groups next breakout के लिए, and 2 groups का जो 10 participants you kind of see how we can allocate.
Okay, ठीक है. How is it going so far?
Yeah, it's good. For you?
Good, yeah. Recording is on.
With was HR and business at a tangent. That was the top one that we found. They don't have the same requirements. The other 3 which the group agreed with were constantly changing or moving requirements, along with clients talking about symptoms, not needs. And all stakeholders have different requirements and expectations. These were the 4 things that we converged on.
Thank you. Thanks, Amit. Thanks for the insights.
Yeah, so I can see something coming up on the chat as well. So we have lack of skills, trust, miscommunication, labeling, additional people, strict rules, gap in understanding of stakeholders, not enough time to clarify their need, lack of motivation, information, data, right? Thank you for that. Yeah. So can we hear another voice, please?
Yeah,
Hi,
I
Kala.
see Sonali raised her
Hello.
hand.
Yes. Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. Reena. Yes, Reena.
I could share our group's responses.
Okay.
We talked about the terminology, their jargon,
Mm-hmm.
the goody picture they paint about their organization and putting the blame on their people,
Mm-hmm.
being arrogant or in a hurry,
Mm-hmm.
that the client wants to be a buffer between you and the team that needs help,
Okay.
the future state they're aiming for, but they can't measure their current state, a baseline, and this connection between HR and the participants, the big mismatch between the stakeholders themselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, Sonali. I was unmindful that you also had your hand up. So sorry. Can you please go on next?
Yeah, sure. You want me to speak, Kala?
Whatever is you're comfortable. You want to put it up in chat? I can read it out for you. And yeah.
I would like to say it. Okay,
please.
as we discussed, clients mostly speak about the symptoms. They don't speak about the real problems. So that is one thing. So it takes a lot of time to dig and find out what are the real problems.
Right.
Okay. Secondly, especially when there is a partnership firm, we find lack of motivation, equal motivation of all the partners. So one partner is motivated to do some development, whereas the other partner is not at the same level. So getting them together, getting them motivated to enroll them for the process becomes difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And thirdly, lack of facts, data is what we face. People speak in a judgmental way and they label their people and they don't speak about facts. Most of the times the data or the parameters are not maintained. So this is the difficulty that I normally face with my clients.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. There's something interesting come up out here. Also, multiple stakeholders, different disconnected versions, lack of clarity about the client wants, lack of clarity about roles and responsibilities, moving forward, client unwilling to compromise on design of action. So client speaks it all, even what I'm supposed to say. Yeah.
So our group, so hi Kala, this is Kamal here.
Yeah,
from Delhi. So what we discussed was, so I think most of the issues have been highlighted, but one of the issues that was peculiar to our group was that lack of an opportunity to co-create the journey along with the client. They already have a mindset about what outcomes they are looking at, and they are not willing to really do the dirty work and walk with the facilitator to clean up the path along the way and take that journey of co-creation and finally achieving the outcomes. So, when you have a fixed mindset, that's one of the barriers.
Thank you for sharing that.
Cool. I think the responses are speaking the same language pretty much, whether you're in India or in your other countries, and the kind of typical challenges that we have seen, whether it's an OD intervention or whether it's any kind of needs assessment that we do. And here is where we are going to explore the model, which can perhaps give us a lot of insights to all the challenges that we face when we are dealing with clients and the stakeholder engagements. Some of the things which I have heard repeatedly from the group and also from the chat, I'm just trying to kind of summarize it for our understanding. I heard a lot of people writing and talking about constant changing of requirements. Sometimes they say one thing, later on they say something else, and then it moves to different thing. I also heard HR and business alignment not been there. I also heard multiple stakeholders coming with different perspectives. I also heard people talking about symptoms and not root causes or problems. Expectations mismatch, lack of clarity, communication, motivation, you can name all that stuff. So if these are the challenges that we really face on our spectrum of work that we do, let us unveil and see what kind of framework we have that can really help us. And how did we move forward with the earlier case that we spoke to you guys about. So here is where we are going to share with you a model. It's called an integral model for the client engagement. The author of this model is Ken Wilbner. Kala, can we have the slides? Yeah, the author is Ken Wilbner. You can Google and find a lot about this gentleman. He has made a very, very powerful framework which allows us to understand the whole system from a system thinking perspective. And a very important point about this framework, about this methodology, which we're going to share in the next slide, is each quadrant has its own specific views and specific needs. And more so often, it may happen that the client is speaking from one particular quadrant all the way, and we might be seeing it from a different perspectives. So let's unveil it a little forward. The basic premise of this model is each quadrant is important, because each quadrant influences and depends on the other three. And we're going to experience that, how it really influences. And the last one, before we start any OD intervention, it is very important to have a holistic systems thinking and ask the questions to our clients from all the 4 different quadrants. It's also important to collect the data at various levels of employees from all the different 4 quadrants to understand a holistic big picture. So this is primarily the theoretical part. Let's go to the framework and understand it in a little better way. So this is the 4 quadrants that I was referring to. On the top, if you see, it's mindset and behavior, which actually is nothing but it comes from individual. Bottom, you see cultural and system. This is nothing but it's collective. Towards the left side, you see mindset and culture. It's nothing but your internal. And this side, behavioral and system, is nothing but external. Let me spend some time here to understand and make this model a little simpler. If you take the first quadrant, which is the mindset, and in the bracket you see I, which is self. What does this mindset quadrant reflect on? It talks about individual, internal. So anything that falls under, let me annotate so it's easier for all the group. So I'm here. So anything that is individual and internal, you talk of attitudes, you talk of value system, you talk of beliefs, motivation, priorities. This all comes under this quadrant. Let's move to individual and external, which is behavioral. The moment it is seen in one or more than one participants or employees, that's where it becomes it. Earlier it was I, now it becomes it, because that is seen in multiple people. What are those behaviors? What are the skills? What are the competencies? What are the performance, knowledge, commitment that we see in a behavior from a teams, from groups, that falls under this particular quadrant? Very interestingly, if you go to the third quadrant, it talks about internal and collective, which is we. When the whole system starts to behave in a particular way, that's when it becomes we. So it moves from I to it to we. So in we, it talks about climate, it talks about team, dynamics, organization and team values, vision, purpose, and priorities, and the whole other things that falls under this particular quadrant. And last but not the least, if you take external and collective, this quadrant is called ITS, where you think about system, structure, policies, processes, external environment, so on and so forth. So this model is so simple and so effective that we can perhaps see how each of these actually overplays on each other. So can we go to the next one, Kala? If you see holistically, all these quadrants play a very, very important role, and that's what the Kelvin-Villeneuve's framework mentions. Can you go back, Kala, once again? Yeah. Can you drive the helicopter once again for us? Thank you. All these 4 quadrants are equally important because each quadrant impacts and brings in its own level of essence. Let us look at the case study that I was referring to in my previous slides. What did we discover forward? So you see, these were the post-its from the earlier case study that we were talking about for that customer intervention. We kind of jotted all these on the post-its, and then we created this framework for our client, and then we started asking the client, where do you think this falls under after the client understood the framework? Now, where do you think the first one falls under? I am the only capable leader. Where do you think this falls under? Does this fall under
Mindset.
Correct. So this is a mindset, right? So it comes under I. Fall language in meetings. Where do you think group this falls under? Which quadrant does this fall under? Fall language in meetings.
Culture.
Behavior.
It's IT, it's behavior.
Yeah. It's
Undefined its culture.
yeah. Let's see what the answer is. It's IT, it's behavior. Yeah. Minimum communication and daily operations. Where do you think it falls under?
Culture.
Systems.
Systems, I would say.
Systems.
I would say cultural.
Okay, let's see where it falls under. It's a behavior.
Okay.
Poor interpersonal relations. Where do you think it falls under?
Culture.
Okay, yeah, let's see where it falls under.
IT.
It's a cultural issue. Yeah. The other leaders are dumb. Where do you think this falls under?
Mindset.
That's right. This is completely a mindset issue. Yeah. And the last one, pointing fingers at each other. Where do you think this falls under?
Systems.
Behavior.
Yeah. Let's see where it falls under. It's a behavioral issue. Now, if you notice, which of these quadrants are represented over here from the statements that we got from the responses? If you see, it is predominantly mindset, behavior, and just one B. So if you further probe and see the model from a helicopter view, what is predominantly missing in this was, can you please enter?
Systems.
Exactly. Predominantly systems is missing, and there is a little bit of cultural elements also which was missing. Then when we started to ask questions more, then further few points emerged, which were second tier supervisor have got good relationship. Now, where does this fall under? Which quadrant does this fall under?
Culture.
IT.
It's I think. Behavioral.
Okay, let's see where the answer is. It's actually a cultural thing. We got few more responses. Let's see quickly which are those. Low customer connect.
System.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was behavior.
Oh.
Let's look at more. No reward system to motivate people.
System.
Absolutely right. System. Let's take one more last. No cross-functional alignment.
System.
That's right. So as you guys rightly figured out, when you have a diagnosis discussion or a stakeholder conversations or an appreciative interview or a focus group, whatever you call with a client, the client predominantly comes up from either one or two of these quadrants and he starts to address and starts to speak. We as facilitators, we need to kind of see whether we are seeing it from a holistic system perspective, which of these quadrants are missing, which of these quadrants can influence the other one, and how can we make it, and how can we ask questions from each quadrant so that we get the addressing of the problems solved correctly, so that we can move from your speaking symptoms and getting into the problem area so that the central issue can get unveiled. Now, when we were having these dialogues, when we were having these conversations with the groups, and we had these multiple iterations with multiple demographic of different levels of groups, and later on when we went and made a presentation to the client, it seemed what the client was facing a problem of customer, thinking the external customer in mind, it actually revolved around the internal customer, which people were not mindfully addressing it, or which people were just hiding it behind the carpet. So the whole intervention, which was supposedly to be the external customer focused, actually became internal customer focused. And that's where how this whole intervention was designed, and it became a success for them when we started to measure the outcomes of it. So this is the framework of Ken Wilber. Now what the invitation to the group is, we are going to give you a small caselet. We are going to give you a small caselet, and then we are going to break you into different groups. And we are going to assign each group one particular cluster. So one group would be mindset, one group would be behavior, one group would be cultural, and one group would be system. The invitation to the group is to read the case study, and when you are in the breakout groups, try to address the case study from the particular quadrant that has been assigned to the group, and at least come up with minimum 2 questions that you would like to ask the client from that particular quadrant. So can we go to the case study, Kala? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Would you want to invite the group for certain questions before we move to the case study? Do you think that's a good idea, Sham?
Sure, yeah. If there are any questions, folks, we'll be very happy to take it.
About the framework that we just discussed, or are we on the same page is also something that we give.
So Padma here.
So, Sham,
can I ask a question?
Yeah, Padma.
Yeah. So Sham, we talked about these 4 quadrants, but I also heard you say that there is some kind of overlap or certain of the issues that really would impact some of the things in the other quadrant as well.
Yeah.
So can you possibly give 1 or 2 examples of?
Sure. So I'll do that, Padma. The group would be aware about various kind of engagement surveys that we do in an organization. Yeah, employee engagement surveys, satisfaction surveys. So there was a client which had got low recognition as one of the drivers, as one of the action points. Now what the team did was, since they had got low recognition and low scores on that, and it was a low hanging fruit for the organization to work as an action plan, they worked on the system part of it. They started to work on the system part of it. Now, what did they do on the system part of it? They came up with fancy certificates. They came up with fancy websites or whatever, that Facebook kind of recognition and all that kind of stuff. They came up with a policy in place that every month HOD and HR should distribute. They came up with some kind of scorecards and all that kind of stuff. So they have completely worked on the system part of it. What happened after 3 months, 6 months? Initially, there was a good craze. There was a good hype. There was a good score going up on engagement. But after 3 months, 6 months, the entire thing fell flat. And the reason was the company or the group had worked on the system part of it by creating policies, process, structure, and distributing certificates and everything. But they didn't work on what kind of mindset, what kind of behavior, and what kind of culture is there to support this system, to support this recognition process, to support this recognition mechanism in an organization. And unless and until, and when you go deep dive to understand why is my organization, HODs or people not practicing recognition, that's where you will kind of see what kind of mindset issues are coming in the way, what kind of behaviors are coming in the way, and what's the culture that is there in the organization, which is actually hindering the reward and recognition process. So once you start to look at the lack of recognition from the remaining quadrants, perhaps the kind of questions that you need to ask, perhaps the kind of reflections and introspections and answers that you get will go a little deep dive. And you will actually get to know where is it that you need to really work on and where is it that will give you the maximum results. So in total, all these four are interlapping. They're all interconnected, and that's why it's a helicopter view that I said, which is each one is impacted with each one. So hope, Padma, you got this clarity from this example.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Shyam.
May I ask, Shyam? I have a question.
Yeah, Manpreet.
Yeah. So while you did an kind of analysis on what was not going well with respect to each of these quadrants, did you also capture what was going well with respect to each of these?
Yes. So that was actually before even we went into this. See, what are some of the things working well from a appreciative inquiry perspective. We captured that with all the focus group conversations, but since the problem was coming from them, I wanted them to appreciate, and the way I asked you guys, where do you think this problem lies in? The similar way I was asking the client, where do you think this problem lies in? And I was actually asking the client to go and put it in the sticky wall, the sticky notes, so that it becomes co-created from them. It doesn't come like a consultant or a facilitator is coming and telling us this is mindset problem, this is your behavioral problem.
You know, that would reveal what they thought was going well, which may not have been. You know, that could have been the perception. So that's where my question came from. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So Kala, before that, let's go to the case study so that we understand what the group is to be.
Sure.
So can I invite any volunteer who could read this case for us loud, please? Yeah, Tanaya, can you go ahead?
Thank you, Shyam. Kalash Tech is an India-based digital payment security company. They were established in 2004 and work with global banks and digital payment clients around the world. They have offices in 6 countries and have revenues of approximately $250 million with about 2,000 employees worldwide. The success of this company was largely based on two core cybersecurity products that integrate into online banking and digital payment platforms. The company continues to see growing sales every year, but has seen a slowdown of growth rate in the last 2 years. This is largely due to competition who have launched similar and cheaper products, as well as a shift in the expectations of clients. In November 2018, the company announced a strategy to move the organization to a more solutions-focused rather than a product-focused approach. This means that the sales and consulting teams need to change their skills and attitude when working with their clients. The challenge is that the sales team of approximately 150 based globally have been with the company for over 12 years and operate in a comfort zone. They are used to seeing growth year on year in the past. The sales team also has extremely strong relationship with clients, and the attrition in the team has been extremely low in the last 3 years. Head HR is clear that this is a change management process and has shared a major concern. Any major changes should not disengage the team and lead to these salespeople leaving, which would impact the business dramatically. He therefore wants to get the sales team to own this strategy shift and be part of the process of building the new strategic sales focus.
Thank you, Tanaya. Thanks for the reading the case study. So this is the case in front of us, guys. Keeping this case in mind, as Kala has mentioned in the chat, you guys would be there in the breakout room. Can we have the next slide, Kala? What are they supposed to discuss in the breakouts? So in the breakout groups, you're going to discuss keeping the case study in mind and also the quadrant that has been assigned to you. Why do you think that quadrant is important from client engagement perspective? And secondly, what minimum 2 questions from that particular quadrant can we ask the client to collect relevant data?
Shyam, I would just like to add, we have got some queries on the chat saying that there is not enough time, for them to discuss, which we truly agree, because it's in a 90-minute, we want to have a lot of experience. So the invitation to the group is to just understand and have a conversation so that we are in a position to able to, understand the framework. We are not looking out for solutions, because such conversations cannot be done in a 12-minute, 15-minute or a 20-minute thing. So the invitation to the group is just to have conversations from the context on how is it that we are understanding the framework, right? So I'm just repeating, I've just put it in the chat for everyone. Breakout 1 and 5 will look at this case study from the mindset perspective. 2 and 6 will be from behavior, 3 and 7 from culture, 4 and 8 from system. Okay. If you need to take a picture of the case study, I'll just move a slide back so that you can take a picture, so it's easy for you to have a conversation. So I'm just moving back. So, just take a picture of this so that when you have conversations, you have all your data with you.
Excuse me, Kala, you have not given the breakout room participants, right?
Sorry?
You have not given us which breakout room.
No, I'm not yet. No, we have not yet.
So how do we remember where we have to go?
So when you are going to be put in automatically, you will say you are in breakout room 1 and it is written mindset or whatever. So please be mindful. Thank you for that question, Rizwan. Please be mindful which breakout room you're entering. And you will be in the breakout room for 15 minutes. Yeah. Are we good? Can I open the breakout rooms, please?
So Kala has put the breakout room number and quadrant in the chat box.
Yes, Narsi. Thank you for that also. Yes.
Thanks, Raj.
Sorry, Raj. Okay, thank you. I'm opening the rooms.
Great.
Okay, okay. Were you not able to join, Andre? Would you like to join a breakout room, please?
Yeah, I would, but I probably I had to drop off because
I thought so.
By logging back, maybe I screwed up your
Yes.
plans.
No worries. I'll just put you in. Thank you. Asmita, would you like to join a breakout room, please?
No, I'm here just for a while, Kala. I will just stay out of the breakout room for
now. Okay. Manpreet, what about you?
Yeah, thanks.
Manpreet?
Well, I'm not getting a prompt for the breakout room.
Okay, I will send you one just now.
Yeah, I too had to log out. There was a power.
Yeah, you're in breakout 7. Shalaka?
Yeah, I can go. I joined late, so I was not part of the first breakout rooms.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, Asmita, the invitation to you is just go and see what's happening in the breakout room. You don't need to be participating, but you can just observe as a silent observer, because that's where your learning is going to be maximum.
So I'm just going to put you in the breakout room.
Is she there?
I have put her, and I think she's gone. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shalaka, were you able to join?
She's gone. She's gone. Back. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. Welcome.
Yes. Request everyone to be on mute, please.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are back. Okay. Request from breakout room, that's mindset. Can we hear a person speak about what was the conversation, why did they feel it was important, and the 2 questions that they came up with. So in breakout room 1, we had Abhishek, Celeste, Maheshwari, Nitya, Sato, and Sonali. So anyone from this, please, who would like to go and have a conversation. It's a 60-second thing to the whole group. Breakout room 1. If breakout room 1 is not ready, I would request someone from breakout 5. That was also mindset.
Anastasia from breakout 5, we made a synthesis.
Oh, okay, Mary. So would you want to?
No, Anastasia.
Okay,
Anastasia.
okay, Miss Marie.
Sorry,
We had a
sorry.
very exciting thing.
I will help.
Okay.
I will help.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we had an intense conversation because we have realized that this is one of the most important issues that can come up. And we've been discussing a lot the tools we would use as a facilitator, such as questioning, in order to guide the people's mindset to the area they didn't even think before. So it was a lot about the questioning, and then also we do recognize the massive importance of the considering on how each individual thinks separately, and we do realize that it lays down in the preparation a lot in order to understand what's the mindset of the client as well, in order to approach their facilitation process. So if we understand the client and we've been able to identify their needs and where their mindset is, then it would be easy for us to work with the mindset of the group later on. Marie, did I put it right?
Yes, it's right. It's very important for us because sales team are on the front line. They are the people who are in touch with the customers to make them see all the benefits of this change. Then there is a strong involvement of the CEO, of the team, of the stakeholders in order to set up a vision with benefits, with what can we achieve with this, in order to make a sales team be convinced and be happy and be eager to go to this change. I told.
Yeah, thank you. So what are the two questions that the group came up? You know, what were the 2 questions that you would ask your client? So I would put it down. Yeah, from this quadrant.
The first one, it was 5 whys. Tanaya offered us the rule of 5 whys.
Okay.
That's one of them. Another one would be, in this context of the given example you shared with us, it would be the question, why do you think a competitor sells at that price? What is their rationale behind that? Why do competitors sell that, in order to understand that?
Okay, why do competitors sell at that price? What is their rationale? Is it right what I've written?
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so group 1, are you ready? Mindset? Group 1?
Hi, Kala. Nitya this side.
Yes.
Few things that we discussed was that, the sales team is the one who needs to action upon now, considering the slower growth rate that is happening. So few questions which will be relevant to ask the client would be, one, were the sales team consulted about what is their views or what is the thought process from them about the slower growth rate? What went wrong? So that is one.
Just 1 minute. I'll need to type it down, so Nitya, you just need to slow down a bit, please. So what do I write? Yeah.
So
I heard you say?
Views from the sales team.
Sorry?
What are the views from the sales team?
What were the views from the
sales team as to what went wrong about the slower growth rate?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
And another thing is keeping the premise that they've built a strong customer relationship over the last 12 years. So keeping that point in mind, we could also ask what strengths that they have built with the client, which is not currently not working well.
Okay, so what strength have they built with the client that
which is currently not working well?
Okay. Which is currently not working well. Thank you. I really love the music that's been playing, but then it is just distracting the conversation. So I would just request you all to be on mute, please. Thank you. Yes.
Coming from your keyboard.
I wish the way I type was so musical, but it's not, Narsi. Yeah. Thank you. So can I request someone from breakouts 2 or 6, that's for behaviors, right? The 60-second rule, to share with the group what was the conversation they had, why they thought that this was important, and the 2 questions that they came up with.
Okay, I'm Garima from the breakout room number 2.
Yes.
Yes. The reason why behavior is crucial when we look at quadrant 2 is because it's an integral part and it all belongs to the mindset. It derives from the mindset, and the mindset and the behavior are directly aligned to client engagement. Okay. And coming to the 2 questions, the first one was, what was the recent customer survey showing up? Okay. And, according to the survey, now what is the strong points of the team? Would you like to write that down?
Yes, yes. So how do you want me to write that down, please?
Yes. What is the recent customer survey show up?
What is the recent customer survey show up? Okay.
Okay. To be specific on this, the strong points and the points to improvise.
Okay, so should I write the strengths? Is it okay if I write strengths?
Yeah, strengths.
And what needs to be worked on? Is that okay with you?
Yes. Opportunities, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The second question would be, now that we have understood from the customer's perspective, what is the perspective or idea behind the people working in the organization? So that would be, what are your views on this survey?
What are your views? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Garima?
That's it as of now, what we had discussed.
Okay.
Anyone would like to add?
Yeah. So group, you were from group.
Kala,
Yes, please. Yes.
This is Rajkumar.
Yes, I saw a point from your end, and you want me to add that, right? Okay.
Yeah, if it is okay.
Yeah, of course. I
sorry
saw
to the
that.
team, I was able to think of an answer, think of a question only now.
Yeah, so 1 minute. Where are you?
Kala, you can directly cut, copy, paste from the chat.
I know, I'm just finding his answer. Just give me a moment, please. Rajkumar, okay. So Raj, this was your question. How does your sales team respond to their prospects to a prospect moves to a cheaper product, right?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just putting that up on the chat. Okay. Thank you, Raj, for that. Group 6, behaviors.
Hi, this is Geeta here.
Yes. Yes.
So the answer to the question why behavior, I second whatever Garima said, so I don't want to repeat that. The questions we have, other than the survey, we did have a survey question already with us too. Did the management conduct any customer survey recently? Other than that, we thought of another 2 points where how many salespeople are comfortable selling solutions now when the shift from product to solutions happen?
So should I write that as a question, Geeta? Is that a question?
Yeah. Yes. How many salespeople are comfortable selling solutions?
How many sales
people are comfortable selling solutions. Okay.
Yeah, and since again the onus was passed on to the sales team, we really don't know if it is only the sales team's responsibility or accountability, right? So we thought, how are the other team members in the organization supporting the sales team in this initiative?
How are the others?
Other teams in the organization, sorry.
Other teams, should I write?
Yeah, teams, like different verticals.
Other teams supporting the sales. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Sham, are you there? I can't see you certainly.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. Okay, Sham, we have got a lot of questions on the chat, right?
Yeah.
And since the paucity of time, we have just 10 minutes more and we have a conversation to do. Can I request the groups just to speak from culture? Why do you think that was important? Is that okay with you? And is it okay with the group also? Yeah. So can I request someone from the culture group to please, the culture group was 3 and 7. What was the conversation? Why do you think it was important? This quadrant of culture was important for you all. And you can put the answer in the chat box, which I will later put it up over here and I will give it to the group.
Okay. Put it on.
Actually, I'll put the questions on the chat box. We had 4 questions.
Okay, so you are from the culture group? 3. Okay, yeah. The culture. Okay, so
yeah, maybe both would like to add some comments. I don't know.
Yeah, so I would love to hear the comments. The questions I can directly get from the chat, but we would love to hear, why do you think that culture was important? Reena, would you want to speak about that, or someone from your group would want to share about it?
I think someone else would like to. That's why I didn't want to share anything.
Okay, so can you request someone from your group to do that?
Well,
since
then could you do it for us?
Yes, I can. First was what is the new vision, a new purpose? This is part of the culture. What is the new culture that needs that the employees need to get adapted to? What are the ingredients needed for that? Is it going to be a change in the strategy? Will the organization redefine their values? What will those values be? And because of that, what would be the team dynamics? What will be the climate that the teams are going to operate in? These are our questions.
Thank you so much. Yes, so that was group 3. Someone from group 7. Would you want to say, why do you think that that quadrant was important for you?
Yeah, hi. I have 2 questions. Hi, this is Kavita here.
Yes.
I have put the questions on the chat, but just to share with you why culture is important. We felt that culture drives the organization because it's the people who are there as part of it. And it's the people culture that brings the entire organization together. So that's why it's very important. So if you're looking at a business objective in terms of achieving productivity, increase in sales, culture drives it. So that's why culture plays an important role. And it also plays an important role in terms of how people work together in terms of teams together. How do they align work together? So that's how culture plays an important role.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, someone from the systems, that's group 4 and 8.
Hi, group 4. I've put the questions on the chat.
Yes, I've got the question. Just have a conversation on why do you think that's important for us?
So when an organization is shifting focus from products to solutions, a lot of times systems play a key part in team cohesiveness. If it's not there, it will lead to chaos. And also the future for the company may be a little bit bleak because it's still using outdated products. And that's where most of our group agreed that it's always good to ask present questions and future questions. We had some questions in the past as well, but we could put it down. But since the objective was just 2 questions, we put 2 questions there. Thank you, Kala.
Yeah, thank you. From group 8, anyone want to share?
Yeah, I'm Vijay. So we discussed that system defines the organization in terms of policies, in terms of how they're going to deal with the environment, and that forms the basis for culture, behavior, and individual performance. So our questions were, what are your customer's customer? What is your current sales process? What processes do you have to meet the needs of your customer and customer's customer? What processes do you have for the addressing the grievances and the rewarding of the various teams? And if somebody is not following the new way, what is the process to be followed to deal with it? Then is what is your present process of process management, and what is your current L&D policies? Is there any reskilling required? So these are the basic questions that we discussed.
Thank you so much. Request someone from your group to put that in the chat so that I can just fill up this Google Doc. They're there? Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you.
I've given it.
Okay, thank you so much. So moving forward, yeah, Sham?
Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. I think these questions are so rich and has got so much of power that when you start to look at it from a different quadrants, and that's when you take your client along with you in a helicopter ride across all the 4 quadrants and enable the client to also see the problem, the central issue from different lens, from different perspectives. And it may so happen most of the time that you actually suddenly start to see the problem from a different lens, or you suddenly see solutions coming from a different perspectives. And that helps you to facilitate, create your processes, create the design of the processes much more robust, much more easy and simple, and much more effective, which can be understood, accepted, and co-created by your employees and clients. So when we did this exercise with the same client, these were the insights that they had generated. These were the insights. We need to have comprehensive meetings with clients to understand the complete picture. Focus group discussions with different tiers of employees is important to find the root cause or causes. Symptoms of the real causes may be in various quadrants, and they're all hidden lying there, which we need to unearth. And lastly, as consultants, we tend to focus on our areas of expertise. It is important to take a holistic view. Many a times, we come from one particular frame or one particular reference, which could be the most important one, and necessarily start to look at things from diagnosis of that perspective, which may or may not be the truth. The truth, ultimate truth, is the client's systems, what the system speaks, along with your perspectives that they open up. So this were some of the insights that the clients had to share with us as we were working with them on that particular project. Let's move forward to see.
Okay, so here we are going to use a Menti and we are nearing to our checkout. So please use Menti. The code we put is 863705. 863705. And the question is, what is the one insight that you've got from this session today? I'm going to be sharing the screen. Sham, can you please put that up on the...
Yeah, I'll do in a minute.
It's 863705. I'm going to stop sharing this.
Let's have your insights.
Just sharing the screen. So we have around 16 people answered this. I'm just going to be waiting for another 30 seconds for your answers to come up. Interesting answers. Interdependence of the 4 quadrants, crucial importance to approach a meeting with a helicopter approach during design, approving and refinement phase. Love the Kenvin framework. We should all have frames in mind while dealing with clients. Deeper perspective of the 4 quadrants and the role each quadrant plays in connecting with the client for solutions. Importance of diagnostic and holistic view in OD. Asking questions from quadrants which are not covered by the client so that we, client, get a holistic view of the situation. Interesting. Ask powerful and compelling questions. Yes. So with this, I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you. And Celeste, over to you. You're on mute.
Yeah, now I put it on. So thank you very much for your sharing. I think from my side, it was a very good experience to look at the 4 quadrants and think about the good questions that we may ask to go further and get clarification, yeah, so that we are not caught in situations where then we are surprised and we need to improv a lot. So thank you very much for being with us. Just as a goodbye, thank you. As a goodbye, just to let you know that we will have the next facilitation talk next Thursday. The time will be different next Thursday because we are merging this talk with the Facilitation Festival. So for you to know, this talk will be happening at 2:30 CET. And the link for this will be different from the one that we are using, but everything will be announced in our Eventbrite page. So if you want to follow up and be there, you're more than welcome. So thank you very much and looking forward to see you again next Thursday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.